I had just gone through a lot of transitions last year, or in the last 2 years, joining a new broker dealer. And initially I was like, no unnecessary changes. I'm just gonna, if it's working, it's not broken, I'm not gonna try to fix it. And then I was connected with a lot of my peers who had been long-term eMoney users. And they were like, oh my gosh, you have to do RightCapital. It's like night and day difference. And I talked to enough people that said that. I was like, you're competent, you know eMoney. So this isn't like you misread what the company, like how it works. It's like you used eMoney for a long time. You're saying RightCapital is way more efficient. So RightCapital, I needed, because I was now on my own, I needed to have efficiencies. And I also, because my brand was a big part of what I'm doing, I wanted to be able to brand the program. So like people think that like it's my program that I like made or something because it's pink on my client portal. So yeah, so talking with those people and hearing them say, we were with eMoney, RightCapital so much better. I basically set up an appointment with like the salesperson and like sold myself. I was like, I've heard this is really great, and this is really great, and this is really good. Are these things all really true? And I feel like I took him off guard because it was like I was just doing his job for him. I'm like, I'm ready. You're going to be using a financial planning program for a long time. And if the one you're with is not the right fit, then you're going to have to change eventually. And the sooner you do that, the less clients you're changing over. So if you decide that a different program like RightCapital is the right one to be at, then it's kind of like changing jobs. There's not going to be any easy time. It's never going to be ideal. It's never going to be natural. But if you decide that that's the right fit for you, then you just need to start making a plan to do that. You need to staff up or carve out some space in your calendar to do the data transfer. But I think I would recommend talking to peers that have transitioned from the program they're currently using to RightCapital and see how it went for them, because it's a lot more powerful to hear it from your own peers. I was with the program you're with, and then I transitioned. Here's how it went. This is why it's worth it. And like for me, the program I was coming from, going to RightCapital, that was what sold me. So I would recommend talking to peers. I have one client in particular who is like, helps me stretch the limits of the software. She's always like, where does this number come from? How did you get this? Why is it doing this? And I'm like, I don't know, I'll go find out. And I brought her into RightCapital and she's like, this is so much better. I'm like, good, because I'm not going back. I think it's just helping my clients feel more organized. And like it's just easier for them to like know where their money is and what they're supposed to be doing really easily. Yeah, so I think that my clients are more organized, they're becoming more aware. And also like the user friendliness of it takes a lot off of my plate. So that's also helpful. It helps me provide better service and focus on what I need to be focusing on. I have one story of a very close family member that I've worked with, and they at some point either like read a book or met with an advisor who told them like, this is what you need to do starting now in order to retire like 30 years from now. And he just looked at it and he was like, there is no way. It was like, I don't even know what percentage, but like more than he could afford to do. And so he basically like did the ostrich thing. He was just like, there's no point in trying because I'm not on track and I can't do what I need to do to get on track. So I'm not going to bother trying. And I was able to run a financial plan for them and show them, here's like, you have no idea how much your living expenses and your ability to live on a small budget. You don't know how big of an impact that's going to have on your plan. For him with a plan, I was able to run it and like factor in Social Security, their mortgage getting paid off before they retire, a very small pension, all those things. And for the first time for him, in his late 50s, early 60s, he actually felt like there was hope and it was worth trying because he was like, there's a chance. And so I feel like if you can get the software to visualize that for someone, for them to feel like, you're actually pretty close to having it work out, or being able to see like, just the little slider and say like, this is a small tweak that you need to make and it'll change your financial situation by so much. It's pretty powerful. Like that they had more student loan functionality. I feel like that's been a huge shortcoming in the financial planning industry as a whole, is just like not focusing on that. It's almost like they think there's good clients that have all this money, no debt. And then there's bad clients that have all this debt and no money. There's a lot of people that have both. There's like lawyers and doctors and veterinarians and just all sorts of people that earn a lot of money and they're not debilitated by their student loans. Like a lot of people worried about well, maybe they are, but their student loans, like they also have assets, or at least they have income. Maybe they haven't built up their investments yet, But if you have a financial planning focused practice where you can charge for financial planning, you can bill hourly to give advice on student loans. And for a lot of those people, if they have more debt than, or if they have more student loans than they have investments, the advice that you give related to that student loan debt is going to be significantly more impactful than the advice you give on their investment. RightCapital is able to look at those things because it has a student loan function. And also, I mean, there's people that are older that have student loans, but I feel like particularly like my practice is more focused on my generation and the generation older, like one generation older than me. And so that's also important as I'm doing more fee-based financial planning, that I can have the capability to address their number one, number two, number three concern for a lot of them, the student loans. And even if just able to call in to the program, or to like be able to call into RightCapital and have a conversation around student loans and have them understand what I'm talking about. It's like there's not a lot of understanding and awareness around student loans in some other companies, because I don't think that they see the profit. So I think that the visual aesthetic of it is just a lot easier to navigate for one. I also like all the visualization I do, like the blueprint function. I just love that, because I think a lot of people, that's one of the stressful things about money, is like they feel like they don't know where their money is. And if they have all these statements lined out, or like a chart with like all these graphs on it, they're like, I don't really know what's going on. But the blueprint where you're like shared assets and your name and their name, investments, assets, insurance. It's like you take that page, like this is literally my financial life in one page. And then the way that the dashboard, you can like basically print that, and it's like a one-page financial plan. I like the ability to customize the dashboard so that you can have what you want to show up. I like being able to have the tasks at a glance there, and then also having the clients get those reminders so that I don't have to try to remember to be like, hey, did you upload that thing yet? Did you reach out to that attorney about getting your will done? Did you call your HR about that benefit that we weren't sure about? So that's really great. There's a lot of the features that other programs have, but I just feel like the ability to organize the data and see it in a way that makes sense, I feel like it's one of the differentiating factors of RightCapital compared to others. Because, every advisor is going to have a different way that a different thing they're wanting to focus on. Like which graphs are plugged in. A lot of my clients, I don't want to have the likelihood of retirement success on there because it's so far away and it's not very close to 100%. So I don't have that be like a main thing that shows up. And we, are focusing more about the things that we need to do to head in the right direction, and, getting those things going. Keeping that in mind when I'm doing planning for people, like realizing every single additional click reduces the likelihood that they will finish what they were doing. So make it really easy, and that's why I love the dashboard. You land on there and you can see everything. Like you can see your net worth. You can see like your retirement snapshot. It's small part of the plan if you're only 35 years old, but you can see where that's at. You can see what things you're supposed to be working on. You can see your effective tax rate. Like it's just all right there.